So it is April of 2026, and this year just seems to be flying right on by. But with the year progressing at an alarming rate, we're starting to figure out the video game landscape for all three video game companies when it comes to the major manufacturers of consoles and stuff like that. Of course, I'm talking about Xbox, PlayStation, and the Nintendo Switch 2. Xbox has had a kind of up and down year, in my opinion. Obviously, the big restructuring was kind of a shock to a lot of people. You know, people leaving the company after decades, people not getting promotions that you thought were going to get promotions. A new CEO is in charge with Asha Sharma, and I've been a little bit critical of the way that some of these things have been handled just because I haven't necessarily liked them. I still don't like the parasocial relationship that they do with influencers and stuff. They just sent out Project Helix shirts and hoodies to people with autograph cards from Asha Sharma, and it's like, have you not learned the lesson? Have you not felt the blowback from situations like that? And then of course you have to talk about the games though, because I am looking at this from a positive perspective. I am the #1 Xbox YouTuber, and when I look at the video game landscape, at least what's announced for 2026, I mean, you got to give Xbox a lot of credit here. Over on PlayStation, you have tentpole games such as Wolverine, which looks absolutely awesome. Over on the Nintendo Switch 2, you've got leaks and rumors. You know, you've got Rhythm Heaven, Yoshi and the Crappy Book. You know, there's some stuff to look forward to. And then you have Xbox. And when it comes to Xbox, I think Xbox actually has the best game lineup of 2026, like by far. Like there are absolute banger titles here, and if everything actually happens the way it should, if all of these games come out in 2026 like they're supposed to, this will be one of the strongest years Xbox has had in, God, I don't even know. Like, I am genuinely excited for the Xbox lineup of games. So I want to talk about what Xbox is bringing to the table in 2026, what at least is confirmed. Of course, there's stuff that's speculation. Now, you could make the argument that, hey, well, I could play these on PlayStation pretty much on day one for some of them. And I mean, that's a valid argument. If you're a PlayStation owner, you're getting the best of both worlds because you can get these games that are from Xbox and also get games that are from PlayStation. But still, you got to factor in Game Pass and crap like that, and some people just have an Xbox. So what are the games that I'm excited for? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. We'll start things off though with the game that I'm least interested in, but there is some cultural significance for it, and that is Halo Combat Evolved Remaster. I don't even know like what the proper title is for this, but it is the single player campaign from the original Halo game, done all nice and pretty. If you know anything about me, you know that I've never completed a Halo campaign. I think the furthest I got was Halo 2. I played that locally with a friend, and it was fine, but like I wanted to do, like my introduction to Halo was with Halo 2, and I just wanted to play online. I wanted to do super bounces. I wanted to get out of the map. I had a modded Xbox, so I couldn't play on Xbox Live. I had to play on X-Link Kai, I believe it was called, and like, you know, it was for people with modded systems and stuff like that. So this does nothing for me. I look at it and I'm like, I probably don't want to play this, but unfortunately, my stupid friends have roped me in to playing it because you could play with up to 4 people in the single player campaign. It's coming to Game Pass. I still have Game Pass, so I will check it out. Now, the cultural significance is, however, the fact that it's going to be on PlayStation 5. You know, Halo on PlayStation, and I believe a wise man who people grovel at his feet once said, if we lose Halo, we lose Xbox's identity. Take that as you will, I guess. But this game, it's my least interested game, and you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. But the other games, the other 3 games, are definitely a lot more exciting. By the way, I'm not including Call of Duty in this list because I didn't play the last one. Like, I'm burned out on Call of Duty. I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and maybe take a year off or something. I know you can't do that from a financial standpoint, but Jesus Christ, you got to do something with that. The next game I want to talk about on my list is Fable. And you might be kind of surprised that Fable is a bit lower on this list, but really, the next 3 games are going to be very tight-knit in terms of my excitement for them. I know some people seem a little bit sour on what we've seen so far from Fable, but I'm not one of those people. This to me looks like what Fable 1 was kind of promised to be, with multiple different things happening, you know, real world reactions to things in the world of Fable based on your character. It's not just sort of a cosmetic thing that slightly affects stuff where, like, if you're evil in the original Halo or Fable, you get horns on your head and stuff like that. It seems like it integrates into the story a lot more and into the world. I really like what I've seen so far from this game. I think it's going to be a really unique game, you know, kind of that fairy tale style gameplay, but I think the customization within the world and how things are handled within the world, as long as they are, you know, actually providing that, because you could sit there and say stuff like you're Peter Molyneux all day and be like, I don't know, is he British? I feel like he's British. Like, oi, mate, beans and toast. We've got all these cool things coming to Fable for the new Fable. He's not a part of it, as he shouldn't be, because he's a chronic liar. He lies about every game he's ever made. Oi, mate, we've got these cool things in Fable. And then a lot of those things got left on the drawing board. I mean, it's true. It's true. But with this game, I definitely think there's a lot more potential for a bigger, larger game, for it to really sort of reinvent what Fable is about. You know, bringing it back to its roots, bringing it back to what the original game was supposed to be. And that's kind of the feeling I get from everything we've seen from Fable thus far. Now, when it comes to Fable, this is kind of the one game where I'm kind of like, is it really 2026? Like, I think if any of the games that I'm talking about today end up moving to 2027, I think Fable would be that game. But I am hopeful. They have said it is 2026. As far as it stands now, I have to believe them. So I'm going to go with Fable as the game that, you know, I'm more excited for it than Halo. But the other two kind of definitely trump it. The next game, of course, Gears of War E-Day. And Gears of War, this is a very interesting franchise for me. Gears of War is actually the initial reason that I bought an Xbox 360, because all of my friends were playing it. Alex, Sheldon, all them dudes were deep into it. We all worked at GameStop together, or I might have been, no, I still worked there at the time. And, you know, Gears of War was just, you know, the cover shooter mechanic, the online stuff, even the single player campaign was interesting. And Gears of War E-Day definitely looks like it's, once again, much like Fable, going back to its roots. Like, Gears 5 was weird. Is that a good word for it? Weird, kind of strange, kind of out there a little bit. They try to do a lot of different things with it to kind of expand upon, like, the Gears gameplay and stuff. And, like, some things I think work, some things maybe not so much. It was a very pretty looking game, but this definitely looks a lot darker, grittier, return to form, Mayday, Mayday, Panic on the Earth, you know, crazy, gory grit. Like, I don't even know if I can show, like, parts of that initial trailer. I feel like YouTube would be like, but I am super excited for this game. You know, the fact that Gears is coming back. Once again, you could talk about the culture of it being on the PlayStation 5 and stuff like that. But you already had the Gears of War Reloaded come out on PlayStation 5. So some of the mystique is a little bit gone with a tentpole franchise coming over to PlayStation. But I think this game is going to be phenomenal. I really think it's going to be, once again, you know, I feel like I keep saying this, but a return to form. You know, much like Fable, fulfilling promises of games that it never really fulfilled. I think Gears of War is going to be a return to the more classic Gears style. Everything from the visual style, from what we've heard about the game and whatnot, just leads me to believe that. And I am all for that. Like, cool, you try to do something different with Gears 5, the more open areas and stuff. Not every game needs to be like that, though. You know, and I hope that the open areas and open stuff is a bit more contained in this game, because I feel like it's not necessary for every single game. But this is a game that I think is going to be freaking awesome. This is like day one for me. I cannot wait. And then the final game is actually the game that comes out soonest, and is the game, this is the reason why I have to play the Halo campaign, because somebody, not naming any names, said, hey, you know, I could probably get you a Forza code, because, you know, they always email me. I was like, okay. And then somebody in the group chat spoke up and said, only give it to him if he plays the Halo campaign with us. And I was like, fine, because I want this game. I want this game early. I want to review this game. And that is Forza Horizon 6. Like, of all the games that have been announced for 2026, I think Forza Horizon 6 is my most anticipated. Slightly above Wolverine. Wolverine is definitely up there. I'm super stoked for Wolverine. But slightly, I would say it's slightly above Wolverine. Obviously, when Ocarina of Time Remake gets announced, things will shift. But this game will be out by then. So, like, it was Resident Evil 9, and now it's Forza Horizon 6. The previews have looked absolutely awesome. I think going to Japan is absolutely brilliant. You have so many types of different, you know, areas where you can race and stuff like that. You know, you've got the crazy Toge tracks. You've got, you know, the Toge mountains and stuff like that. You've got the city stuff and, you know, the biggest city ever in terms of like an urban area to drive into, countryside stuff. You could do so much stuff with it. The previews have looked absolutely fantastic. I still want to see the car list. You know, I'm waiting with bated breath. They say there's over 550 cars at launch. They've only shown like 100 or announced them. So obviously a lot more stuff to do with that. But like, I think the coolest aspect is like the community aspect that they've included into this game, you know, like the car meets and stuff like that. And I think like that was, it was everything that I wanted from this game, since it was going to Japan, since it was a new entry in the franchise. Like every little thing that I kind of wanted, they've seemed to have included into this game. And like, I am super stoked for this game. Like, definitely out of everything that's announced, you know, I mean, you could say GTA 6. I also think GTA 6 is delayed. I don't think it's coming out this year, but GTA 6 withstanding, I'd say it's right up there with Wolverine. I'm giving the edge a little bit to Forza because obviously you're going to be able to play Forza a lot more than you will Wolverine. So yeah, I mean, and that's just stuff. That's just like the bigger stuff that's announced for Xbox. And all this is supposed to be 2026. And once you sprinkle like other things in there, because there will be other stuff, I'm sure, you know, maybe remakes or remasters or different things going on. Like, it's a super strong year for Xbox. I don't think anyone can deny that. And as far as the games that have been announced, the games that have been revealed, as of today, April, what is it, the 11th? I think Xbox takes the cake. Now, there's still time for the other companies. I think PlayStation is pretty much set in stone. Allegedly, there's supposed to be a state of play coming up this week. Nintendo, who the fuck knows what they're doing? Rhythm Heaven and Yoshi's Crappy Book are waiting for you, though. More expensive for the physical version of Yoshi's Crappy Book, though. Or is it the digital is cheaper? We don't know because they haven't announced another Switch 2 game price yet. But yeah, like Xbox, I think, is having a banner year this year. And I'm really looking forward to all four of those games, even the Halo campaign. At least it'll be pretty, and I'll be playing with friends. And I don't know, worst case, I can just like sit there and do something else and just make them carry me. But what do you think about the lineup for Xbox in 2026? Are you playing this on an Xbox system or on PC or on PlayStation? Obviously, Forza is the one game, at least thus far, that is not day and date on the PlayStation 5. There's been rumors about Xbox bringing back exclusives and other crap as well. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with that? I think the business model is too far gone for that. But hey, this is a positive video, so you can kiss my ass, all you dumbass Xbox Twitter accounts who say all I do is complain about Xbox. Bullshit. I'm going to spread it, and you can kiss it, pal. You can kiss it. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're tapped into the King of Xbox YouTube by hitting that subscribe button. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.